What's
We are
happening?
here.
We are live, actually. All right, so this looks different, and it is different. Just about 20 minutes before we were going live, the entire neighborhood, the internet connection and cable all crashed. And as we're on the phone call with the company, they said 11:30 is when we could get you started. And I said, absolutely fucking not. I called my sister.
Hey, we didn't do our warning video.
Oh, yeah, let's do that real quick. Play that, Genevieve.
Hold on.
Indeed.
Warning. The following video contains strong language which may be offensive to some viewers and or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
And there
Somebody's
we go.
inappropriate.
Me. Yep, right there. A little bit bitter tonight because I had an entire thing created, especially for what I'm doing with one of my good brothers. But we are here. We are now on a Monday night, 10 p.m. My sister and I, we will make this work, and we will be here no matter what.
The show must go on.
The show must go on. So we'll just make it work. I'm so pissed I can't see the comments at the moment. If I flip my phone, let's see if I can see comments.
We don't have comments yet, so don't worry. I'll take care of the comments.
Let me know. Let me know.
Don't you worry.
Don't let me watch this horse shit, I guess, tonight. Anyway, no, we really do have really cool guests. Paranormal World. Dimensional Encounters. Paranormal.
You ready?
Ready. Let's do this.
There we go.
Hello.
Hi, guys.
What's happening?
Hello.
There's my friend Sue. What's going on? Of course, you had to watch on the night that I'm having technical difficulties in the neighborhood. All right, let's see. All right, guys. So, like I want to say beforehand in front of everyone, my apologies on the way this show is actually going to be formatted tonight, but it is what it is, and we run with it. So, thank you all for being here. Yeah, so I just want to represent you guys, and thank you 100% for being on WLFE-TV radio, and you're here, and you are now. So explain who you are and what you're about, my friends. Let's start with
first.
Holly.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So we are, what?
What are you about, my friend?
Okay, so we are a paranormal team that is from 3 different states. We are from Wisconsin, Iowa, and Nebraska. And we all got together and decided we would start doing some investigating. So that's what we're about.
Great. Write down the list. Let's go to the ladies first. Always, Jesse. Tell us about your part in this and what you're about to, because there's the reason I asked this to go through everyone, because there's so many here, and you guys got teams all over, and we'll go into that. I got all my notes right here. You all have a different thought process of what you guys are about. That's what's great about it. So Jesse, how do you go into it? Like when you go into the investigations, your role in the entire group?
Well, I think that's one of the nice things. We do have a large team. Each one of us kind of has our own different roles, but we blend so nicely together and complement one another. I am one of our team's psychic mediums, and that feels a little weird. It's kind of the first time I've actually said that out loud in public, right? And so while we have our folks that focus in on the tech stuff, we have those of us that really use our feelers. And kind of some of our gifts and our skills. One thing that we're really kind of learning is, as I've started participating, is that I can channel spirits. So
That's a gift.
And so that's one of the things I do, and one of the things I contribute is being able to help us communicate with spirit, because our goal as a team is really to communicate and help and learn and remember.
Rob, you're next.
And
Hey, I'm here. I'm waiting for you.
Hi.
Hi.
So
All right,
here's
so-
a question for you. Am I supposed to be seeing anything? Because I'm seeing like this frozen screen.
Nothing
Awesome.
should be frozen. Nothing should be
Not
frozen.
frozen
Everyone
on
looks
this
good.
end.
Yeah.
Oh, it's frozen over here. I
All
see
right.
I'm backstage.
All
You're
right.
live.
But that's okay.
We can hear you. Anyway, tell us your role.
We can hear you and see you.
Mhm.
Outstanding. So I am the breakfast burrito maker. We have these amazing heart attack burritos. The team kind of calls me the team crier because we go in there, we go into different locations, and we start seeing things. And most of the time, somebody pees my pants for me, and then I start crying, and then I have to run out the building. And then usually people have to come and grab me and bring me back inside. Okay, maybe that's not the way it really happens.
I love it too.
Yeah, that's a lie.
Yeah, so I kind of get the feelers. I'm not going to say that I'm a medium. I don't know if I could say I'm sensitive or what. Well, obviously I'm sensitive because I end up crying a lot in here. When things start to go south, I kind of put my hands up, and I don't know if you can see the tattoo, but I have this Archangel Michael tattoo here, and we kind of have a connection, I think. And sometimes, or most of the times, we've gone from shitty to wow, that was amazing. So that's kind of what I do.
I love it, and I've
Very
got
cool.
to recognize some of the YouTube videos you guys do. Actually, a lot of them, and I see your part in it, brother. So we'll get into that later as well. So
Yes, sir.
it's on point. All right, Bobby, we're gonna go to you. Sorry if I keep looking at the screen like this. It's so small. I'm not used to a friggin' screen. Bobby, what's your part, brother, and what's your take on your group, brother?
So I started the group back in 2017. We went with another group to Edinburgh Manor, and it was just kind of an invite thing, me and my buddy and my kid. So we went with them, and it wasn't really a so-called investigation. I mean, we did our own thing. We went with them, and it ended up being really loud and noisy until everybody else fell asleep. So we went and did our own little portion of it, and I caught some pretty decent evidence. And from then I was just hooked. So I started going, and I met Rob a couple years ago, going on an investigation with the team that he was with prior to us, and we kind of hit it off, and he kind of got excited about all the tech stuff that I had. I had some battery-powered static cameras and nice IR lights and different cameras and different toys that he hasn't seen. And from then on, we just kind of made it a thing. And he joined, and we talked about it. And I mean, we did some investigating before he joined. But I mean, we were just a good fit because every time that we walk into a building, I walk with him. He gets some goosebumps or some hair standing on end, and I start an EVP session, and 9 times out of 10, I usually get it. So,
well, that's an interesting point. Like without the EVP part, but as far as like the meeting, so I remember the other night when we all met. I believe Rob said this, that you guys have an amazing team. It's more for family oriented. What got you guys together? Like, what was the process of all of you meeting? Because you have different teams from a few different states. What was the process of everyone saying, yeah, this actually works, and we're gonna do this together? What was that entire cycle?
Serendipity.
Serendipity is one of my favorite things.
Absolutely. I think it was, I always say the things that had to align for this group of people to come together is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, Bobby had to travel 3.5 hours away to a location to meet the team that Rob was a part of initially, to find out that they lived a mile away from us. And then, you know, a year later, Rob and Judy and Rob's second wife, not really, but that's what we call her sometimes, Terry, you know, went on an investigation with Bobby, and he was invited. And then Rob introduced us kind of to Holly and Terry, and We have a large group. About half of our team, if not a little bit more, is not on the call tonight.
Right.
So we want to make sure that we give kudos to them. We have Tom and Nikki, who live out of Nebraska, who weren't able to be on tonight, and Terry, as well as Jerry, who is one of the co-founding members of Dimensional Encounters back in 2017, and Bobby and I's two sons, Kane and Cameron, are both a part of it as well. In our last investigation, Terry brought her daughter, so it's, when Rob says it's very family oriented, it's definitely family oriented, and we have become family very, very quickly. These are our people, and our go-to people, and these are who I trust with everything that I am.
I love it.
Hope they feel the same.
love you, man.
Okay, so I got to chime in on this.
Sure.
Bobby, you had this completely all wrong. I'm just going to throw that out there, okay? Yes, we did meet at an investigation. Yes, you had the cool toys, but what caught you was that necklace that I brought for you. And you said, man, that's badass. We need to hang out a little bit. And from there, I have to admit, when I got scared and someone peed my pants and I had to run out the door, you're the one who picked me up, and my legs wouldn't carry me out the door. So that's what really happened.
Now, when I picked you up, I peed your pants on the way out. So
I love it. See, it
Must
really
have
is
been a
family
fun
oriented. Like, they're joking. I love it, man. Genevieve, I have a question to go into, but do you have anything to dive in on the process of the meeting?
No, I love it, and I love that it's you've got the kids involved. You're raising up the next generation. It's great. It's awesome.
It really is. It's it's educational as well. It's opening minds
Oh, yeah,
for the
definitely.
youth. I mean, it's on point. Now speaking of youth, growing
Kenny.
up, Ted, what's happening, brother? It's a new look. It is what it is. All right. So speaking of youth, Genevieve, to spider web on that, when you guys were young, your experiences, what brought you into the paranormal world itself in general?
That's my favorite.
Write down the list. Yeah, write down the list. I mean, I want everyone to answer this one.
All right. So I saw a lot of different things. My grandmother came out to visit us and she got sick. We brought her into the hospital. And about 3:00 in the morning or so, or something like that, it was really late. I woke up with the smell of my grandmother's hand lotion. And I said, she passed away. And I went in and knocked on my parents' door. I woke them up and my dad was madder than hell. And I said, Dad, I think Grandma just passed away. At that point, he said, boy, get your ass back in bed. And so I did. And it wasn't 30 seconds later, the phone rang and my father took off. And when he came back the next morning, she had passed away that night. The other thing that really happened that brought me to this was she came to visit me one time. And I was passed out of sleep. I was 16 years old. The room got really cold. I got to smell that rose milk perfume. I felt a kiss on my cheek, and I just knew it was my grandmother. And I heard her say, "Help me. I'm drowning." And I didn't understand it. And I kind of tossed and turned a little bit. I got the smell, the kiss, and then it went away. And that really stuck in my mind for, I don't know, a couple of weeks. And I called my grandmother that lived in the same town that my other grandmother that had passed away. And I asked her if there was anything that was going on out there, anything that I should be looked at or worried about or anything like that. And she said, no, Robbie, everything's good to go. And I said, well, what about the cemetery? And at that point, my grandmother said, well, I'll take a ride out there and take a look. When she went out there, she had found that the cemetery, the portion where my grandparents were buried and my father was buried, or my grandparents were buried, it was underneath 6 inches of water. So that really brought it home to me. But I will also admit that I suppressed a lot of this until probably about 2 years ago when I had a friend say, hey, let's go look at Malvern Manor. And I went, what is this place? He said, it's haunted. And I said, yeah, okay, whatever. We went out there. We saw some things. I'm hooked. Let's do this.
What I love about that, Rob, before we go to someone else, is that you actually had a personal visitation, like family came to you, like
Yeah.
the scent and everything. That's meaningful right there. And
Yeah.
you would only know that smell, you would only know the touch, everything. So it's like you kind of knew, and that was like a personal visit. You can't make that up.
No, and the thing is my grandmother was paralyzed, and we were really close. She lived in North Dakota, we lived in California, and when I went out there to visit, I would get in trouble because I'd ride my bike like 3 miles out to where the home that she was staying in, and I would stay all day. And my parents would get mad because they'd have to come get me and throw the bike in the back of a car and drag me back. But my grandmother and I were very, very close, and we shared the same birth date.
Wow. Love it. That's on point. All right. Whoever. It's open. Whoever wants to go next. All right, I'll pick. Jesse, you're up.
Yeah. I think my first memory of encountering the paranormal was probably when I was about 4. And there was a spirit that kind of sat in our window. My sister and I shared a room. So every night I was always on the top bunk, right? So I always had to climb up, and it's kind of opposite that window. And I would always see the spirit in that window, and it was always talking, but I could never understand what it was saying. And I remember one incident where it would start to knock, make noises, things like that. I would wake up in the middle of the night and hear things that just didn't make sense. There was no logical explanation for it. And it kind of came to a head when the ceiling inside our closet, our bedroom closet, collapsed for no reason. There was no water leak. There was no damage. There was no obvious reason why the ceiling would collapse. And that's about the time that I stopped seeing the spirit for whatever reason. Being young, don't really know why that is. I have always been an empath and been an intuitive empath, which I struggled a lot with in my teenage years. Kind of, it's enough when you've got your own hormones and emotions going on, when you're dealing with everybody else's too, and you don't realize it and don't understand what's happening. It can create a lot of chaos. And I used to get a lot of ridicule, and so I actually shut it down. And just kind of locked it inside my head, kind of envisioned a box and just kind of put it all inside there until about 6 months ago. I'm kind of the newbie to the team. Bobby's been doing this for a long time, but I always said no because I hadn't even shared with him my gifts because I just didn't know how he would take that. And we've been together 15 years, right? So that's a long time to kind of hold that in.
Right.
But I also knew that if I went on an investigation that I wouldn't be able to kind of block that out anymore, and my secret would come out. So yeah, here we are.
Out of the closet.
Out of the closet. Or, I don't know, we spend a lot of time in the closet, so maybe we're into the closet now. I'm not sure.
In and out and in and out and in and out.
Over and
Nice.
over. All right, let's run to let's go to the bottom here. Bobby, what same question from the youth.
My name's Bobby. I like long walks and short bridges.
I think his sound is off.
I was like, he got quiet real quick. This is not like him.
Hey, Dom, I don't think we introduced my wife yesterday or the other day. She's also here with us. I can't see where we're pointed, but
There she is.
you want her to go while Bobby's getting his sound worked out?
Yes, please, actually.
It's all you.
I am Judy. That one's mine. We've been married 32 years, and my most significant spirit encounter that really, really made me believe that spirit does exist and they can be there and talk to you. We were stationed in England. We got there in 1995. And Jaden was 1.5 years, and we were in this billeting room. And a billeting room is where it's like a hotel room, but military hotel. So that's where we were. And we had 10 days to find a house and 10 days to find a car because we were in England and we didn't have vehicles with us. And how are we going to do that? You know, and it's a foreign country. And so I was inwardly stressing this because I don't really like to show my feelings outwardly sometimes. So I just pretend it's not there, you know? So my mom, I was laying in the bed and Jaden was sleeping and I was trying not to sleep because of the jet lag. And I'm laying there on the bed and all of a sudden I got this feeling of calm and a feeling like someone was touching my face. And I opened my eyes, and my mom passed away 6 months before Jaden was born, by the way. And she was laying there facing me on the bed, and she looked healthy, like she was in her 30s, you know, like maybe 30 years old and beautiful still before she got really sick.
Right.
And she said to me while she stroked my head in full spirit form, I saw her completely. She said, everything's going to be okay.
Oh.
And then my heart rate picked up because I remembered that she was dead. And so she disappeared. And that day we found a car and we found the best place ever to live. And we had the best neighbors. And it was just a really great place to rent while we were in England.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
See, you guys all have like absolute like personal touching stories. That's what I love. That's actually probably the family oriented style of you guys too. Like everyone kind of just it's that spiderweb effect where it's like, yeah, we're fam. Like even though we're not blood. So I love it. I could feel it in you guys. All right,
Yeah.
Holly, let's go over to you, my friend.
Okay, well, I guess I didn't say it before, but I, like Jesse, am a psychic medium. I probably knew this very, very young. And when I started this, it wasn't cool like it is now. So when I would say I see things, people would be like, you mean like your imaginary friend? And I'm like, no, like these are people I see. And then I would start explaining to them things that they were telling me. And then it was like, my mom, being very religious, was like, oh my God, she's got the devil in her. Shut her up. And I was like, it doesn't work like that. Like it's here and it's not going away. So I thought something was wrong with me, found out there wasn't. And I, like Jess, kind of suppressed it. After a while, I was scared of it. I had some parts of life and things that I saw that really scared me. So I shut down for a long, long time. And then I had a dear friend have a tragic incident in her family and a message. I was in bed one night and her son came to me, sat on my bed and said, I need you to tell something to my mom. So reluctantly, I gave her the message and kind of opened myself up a little bit and said, I think this is what I was meant to do. And then kind of like everybody else, Rob and I were talking one night. He said, hey, I was told you wrap crystals. And I'm like, yeah, I do. And as we were talking, I'm like, Rob, who's that little girl standing in your kitchen? And Rob says, what? And I said, there's a little girl in your kitchen. And he's like, I don't have a daughter. I said, I think you do. And I started to explain to him everything I saw with this little girl. And he's like, you're the second person this week that's told me that. Damn it, there's something in my house. And so he kind of was like, what else do you know? So then Rob, being the wonderful big brother that he is, says, hey, you've got to meet this girl that I know. And boy, she's going to like really shoot the socks off your feet. She can tell you things that she shouldn't know about you. So that's kind of how it started with Rob. And then he introduced me to Jess and to Bobby, and they said, hey, we've got a really cool place we'd like you to come check out in Iowa. Let's see how it goes. And then I went over. Iowa's about a little over 3 hours for me. Went over there for the day. Thought I was going to just hang out with some friends. And the next day he's like, would you like to join us? Because we all really like you. And I think at that point, it became, as like everyone has said, definitely a family for me. We do things other than just the paranormal. So we do, like, we talk every day. We shoot the shit. We make fun of one another, and it's just been fun for us ever since. So
Love it. And
my story.
see, you guys did the network and actually found each other. I love it. And that's where most should do. I do want to bring this up before I forget about this point. In the back chat the other night, you guys had something really nice to say about Rob, about one of his about his role in this. And I love the way it was put. Rob is a connection to the divine. Explain that.
Are you asking me, or are you asking the rest of the team to define that?
I'm going to ask the rest of the team first,
Okay.
and then I want you to define it in your own heart, brother.
Okay.
So I think those were my words, and I think maybe I was the first to truly experience what Rob can do. Gosh, it gives me goosebumps just even thinking about that night. Rob has always kind of been told that he is a healer, but never truly kind of understood what his gifts are, and is definitely. Oh, Bobby's back! Yay!
You get to see me with my ugly ass headphones on, so
It works, brother. Don't worry about it. We're
I hear
good.
you. That's what's important. So we were doing an investigation, and we pretty much had our whole team except Bobby, who was upstairs cooking us all dinner. And we were at the Klondike Hotel here in Iowa, and we were in the basement, and we were kind of dealing with what we believed to be, or what identified themselves as some elementals. And we had a lot going on, right? We had somebody using an SLS, and we definitely had a very, very large figure on it, and huge figure on it. And it looked like it was trying to hold something back, like hold back something behind a door. And I was sitting closest to that location and was definitely communicating. It was sending me symbols, things like that. So I was trying to understand the signs and let everybody know what I was getting. Things started to get what felt like could have been going in an ugly direction. We were starting to get some pretty negative vibes. My energy was being drained very, very quickly. It was about that time that I noticed that Rob was very, very quiet. And all of a sudden, and my eyes are closed, right? And all of a sudden, I get this blue, I don't know how else to say it, but pulse, a wave of light coming at me. And I can see it, I can feel it, and I can't describe what this felt like. There are no words. The love and the warmth and the healing nature of it was so strong. And I noticed that Rob was really quiet. And I said, Rob, dude, where are you? What's going on? I haven't heard you say anything in a minute. Because we check in on each other, right? Because especially Rob and I can get a little lost sometimes when we're doing stuff. And he spoke. And when he spoke, that wave got stronger. And so he'd stop talking and it would kind of lighten up a little bit. And I'd be like, no, talk again. And he'd talk again and the wave got stronger. And there was nothing I could do but smile. All the negativity, everything that was pulling on my other side of my body just kind of went away. Because it was just engulfed in this blue, loving, warm, healing light.
Love it.
And I believe with everything that I am, that Rob was manifesting that light. And when we asked him what he was doing, and when we looked back on our video, you could hear him praying. You could hear the whispering. And you'll notice that in a lot of our videos, you'll hear, that's Rob praying, and praying to Archangel Michael to surround us in his light and to heal us. And he specifically, well, Rob, I'll let you take over from there, from what you were doing.
I want to say something first on that before we go into Rob there. With that, you can't make that up. And I say this with open heart because you can't prove any of that as a paranormal investigator. You just know in your heart that it happened and it was real. So you have to, everyone who does not know paranormal, we can't prove anything technically. However, though, your personal experience with this is true nature. and you feel that in your heart, and you got goosebumps and everything from it. Like, that's real shit right there, my friend.
Discount
It
that
is.
stuff.
And,
So
and I knew in that moment that Rob was a healer, and that everything that he had been told as being a healer was true, but he was also a healer for us,
Yep.
for the living, for who we are, and our protector as well.
Yep. Genevieve, you want to throw something in on that one before we go to
I was
Rob?
just saying it's so important to keep that perspective and to keep that in mind too, that your actual experience kind of beats all of the investigative equipment that you have.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we are the best radars and
The best tool.
the best tool. Yep, absolutely.
You just called me a tool.
Yeah.
In front of everybody.
We all do.
We're all tools, man. Rob, all right. You are the divine, brother. Explain this from your own personal heart.
So I'm going to be honest with you. I can't explain it. You can ask the rest of the team. I will deny the fact that I have any type of gift whatsoever. I can tell you, though, that at the Klondike Hotel, there was some words that came across through the obulus, came across through the spirit box, and also through Jesse. And they were words like brother, devil, combine us, join us, some other things on there. And that alarm went off inside my head, and I went, holy shit, this is not going the way we need it. And I'm about to pee my pants. It's going to be me this time. And I threw my hands up like this, and normally I'm the talker. You know, I just get out there and I talk and talk and talk and talk, and people are looking at me like, shut up. And I just keep talking and talking. But I have to say, though, when it comes to this, I want to say that I'm pretty humble about it. I can honestly say that I haven't seen it, but I can tell you that everybody on the team has experienced it. Mm-hmm. And if you watch the movie on our website, it's the Klondike Hotel Basement Part 2. Things start to go sideways, and I don't know if I was afraid, or I wanted to make sure that everybody was fine. But I asked for the 3 layers of protection. First layer being the pure white light of Jesus Christ. And then I asked for Archangel Michael to come down and surround us in his beautiful blue light and protect us with his truth and honesty. And then I asked for God's doctor to come down, Archangel Raphael, to heal us mentally, physically, and emotionally. And I can't tell you how long I was in prayer when that, and I heard Jesse's voice, and I just kind of popped my head up, and the next thing I know, Tom is answering for me, and he's kind of across the way from where I'm at. And once I lifted my head and opened my eyes and kind of realized what was going on, the atmosphere in the entire basement completely lifted. And it sounds kind of hokey, but you know, like when you see Bambi, you know, the sun comes up, you have this little deer and it's munching on the grass, and everybody's happy until the hunter comes around and shoots him. But anyways, that's what it was like. I mean, it was just. I mean, everything just lifted. There was no heaviness, no fear, nothing inside of that room.
Well, I'll tell you, Rob, it's really great that you said, like, with the sunshine coming up and things like that. I know investigators. I know technically, I'll say it like this: witches out in Alaska who actually go do cleansing of houses, and
right.
they actually explained it very similar to how you just put it out there. That everything's the feel of the atmosphere is like almost gravity is gone. There's a happy place now. It just, I totally understood that and bounced off exactly in my thoughts of people who told me what happened in their experiences. So I agree with you.
And Jesse was telling me, you know, I saw this and I saw that, and you know, I honestly looked at her and I said, I appreciate this, but I didn't see anything, to be honest with you. And we're on our way home, and Terry, she turns around and she says something to the effect of, well, I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't see any blue light either. And I went, oh, good, that makes me feel a whole lot better. She goes, but when I closed my eyes while we were down there, what I saw was like blue glitter following down from the sky, and I was like, you didn't make this any better. Just be quiet. And I'm gonna go back to my humble self, and I'm gonna keep driving. You be quiet. But you said that?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was Terry. My mistake. That was Judy that said that.
Well, let me ask before. I'm going to retract some steps here in a moment, but before we move forward with it, or moving back in steps, because we're going to go to Bobby in a moment. Judy, going on to the divine part. What's your intake on there, or out? Well, intake.
I personally, all my life, he's felt like a healer to me, and I've always felt that with him. I just didn't realize that that's what it was until recently when we got together with our friends. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, oh, that's what he is. And that's why he can calm me down, because with my nickname, it's hard to do sometimes. But I don't personally see the light per se. It's just I feel it. And I can also, I think, project it. I think I've helped Jesse a couple of times. And I know I've helped my husband where I can touch them and put a calming light in them that I see, but I don't see when someone else says they see. Do you understand?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
And Judy definitely does. In our last investigation, I don't know if we got the video from when we were talking with Matthew, but I was...
yeah, they're both posted.
Yeah, to attempt to channel a spirit that we knew was very, very angry. And I needed anchors. I needed something to keep me grounded. And Judy and Tom were my anchors. I had one on one side, one on the other, both touching me, holding me. One was feeding me energy, and Judy was feeding me that calm. Judy's also that person that she can walk up and give you a hug, and that one spot in your back that's hurt you for days, she knows exactly where it is. You haven't talked about it. She just feels that. She knows exactly where it is, and she knows exactly how to heal it. So it's more than just the emotional for Judy. It's that physical. I keep telling her she needs to train as a Reiki, because I think that's one of her callings, is that she is a healer as well. Even though
love it.
Real quick, I just want to mention for everybody to check out the banner going on the bottom, facebook.com, Dimensional Encounters. That's their Facebook page. You guys have a website?
No, we don't have a website yet.
Okay.
But we do have we have a YouTube channel,
Instagram, and Facebook.
And all that can be found on your Facebook through your Facebook page, right? Okay, cool.
Yep.
And actually, the YouTube videos, we're all going to get into that later too. Yeah, you have all your investigations on there. I want to retract a couple steps back. I want to go back to Bobby about the youth part of why you got into the paranormal, my friend.
So I've had several experiences over being young. One of them didn't even have to do with spirits or ghosts or whatever you want to call them. The first experience I remember, I was 5 years old, walked outside my grandparents' house. It's snowing, freezing cold. And I'm standing in front of the garage, looked up in the sky, a big yellow crack in the sky when it's snowing, there's clouds everywhere, and I hear Cowboys and Indians music. And then I like close my eyes, run in the house, and my mom said, "You've been outside for hours," and I thought it was 5 minutes. So It was that was pretty wild to me. And I've never been able to explain that, but I've heard of several different people that have experienced similar things.
Wow, that almost seems like a time warp.
Yeah, it was definitely weird. That's one that I'll never forget. I mean, that's something that's my mom smacked me upside the head and said, "Stop lying, stop making up stories." But I know what I saw.
I understand.
The other one that I have that's very vivid is similar to Rob's. I was 7 years old, and my grandma got sick. She went to the hospital, and I went up and saw her, and my parents said she's probably not going to make it through the night. And at that time, I'm 7. I had no idea. I didn't know what that meant. And then I'm sitting, they tell me to go to bed. I'm laying in bed, and I sit up, and I'm having a conversation with my grandmother. She's sitting at the end of the bed talking to me, giving me cookies, and I thought it was a full-blown conversation. And I was talking to her for a good 15 minutes. My mom came in and said, "What are you doing? You need to go to bed." I'm like, "Well, I'm talking to Grandma." And she said, "Well, Grandma died." about 20 minutes ago. So that was pretty intense for me, because she was like my everything back then. She was my rock. She was the one that would sit on grandma's leg. I mean, that was the person I went to. And
I tell you, I have a same brother. I have my grandmother tattooed on both arms, here and here. She Ouija board says Nan and spelt Anna. So grandmas are a very important part, I see, in a lot of us.
yeah.
So that's what's up. Now, all right, Bobby, I want to dive into some things here about the technical part of it. You guys have mentioned equipment that you guys use. Myself, I am an investigator. I told you guys the other night, I kind of go back to basics. I really don't use much, of the new technical stuff. I kind of like scry, whether I use a blood ritual or not on a Ouija or however I may do it. EVP is the one thing I do love. But let's start explaining. Bobby, we'll start with you with the technical part of it and the equipment that you guys use, and we'll go right down the list and why you guys do, why you use this stuff and your thoughts on it.
Okay. So one of the basic things that I like to use is the voice recorder. And I like to use two of them usually. I have a high dollar Zoom voice recorder, and then we have they're just little cheapo voice recorders, but these are actually the best voice recorder I've ever had. And what I like to do is run them simultaneously, because a lot of times they draw to one more than the other, in my experiences. And I think we get a lot more on these little gray ones than we do on the big high dollar ones. But they, I don't know. I have this niche about me when I go to these locations. A lot of times I'll go off by myself for a little bit, because that's what I do. And then I go and I feel out the place, and I find me a spot that I'm going to go later on and do a solo. And then I take as much equipment as I can, just because if I have everything running, then I can, if something is interacting more, then I know what to use at that location. So I'll pull out everything from a RTC box to voice recorders to the cameras. The little cameras we use are they're little Zoom. These are Q2Ns. They got the little screens on the back, but these are absolutely phenomenal. They have some of the best audio that I found in a camera.
They sure do.
They're incredible cameras. You can see all the recent videos he's posted are all from these cameras. I like to use the all of the equipment that I use is all just the basic normal ghost hunting equipment that you see everybody have, like K2 meters, REM pods. I mean, yeah, the mel meter, his is the full mel meter. I like some of the equipment. I tend to stay away from the phones. A lot of the phone, a lot of the phone stuff is, to me, it gives off a lot of false readings when you're going in with trying to go Facebook Live, or you have those signals that are running through. I mean, we've had a lot of false positives that came in, and it was a lot of it's just not good when you're using phones. But
are you speaking of those apps and stuff that like the ghost?
The apps, the apps, and our
Genevieve.
equipment.
I
and
would
our
put
equipment
like
too. So.
I would honestly, like, this is my personal opinion. I would say those phone apps are 100% horse shit. Just being on investigations myself.
Yeah,
well, I'm not an investigator.
I know. Genevieve, you're part of history, and we're gonna get to you in a moment too. When I talk to him in the backstage again, with the history of what you do. So yeah, we're gonna talk about that. But anyway, Bobby, keep going, brother. I love it.
Yeah. So the apps, to me, I think some of them are okay. I don't think that all of them are terrible. The Spiritus app has potential, but the problem with the Spiritus app is it has a lot of phonic generator in it, and when you have the generator, it's gonna automatically generate. So you're and you could feed into it as much as you want, but it's kind of hit or miss. But I have had some pretty crazy experiences with using those because I've had I was talking to something. It was a location called Many Faces Bed and Breakfast, and we were there and we were using Spiritus, and I asked the question and it straight up said, "This is my answer," and it gave me a full sentence, and I was like, "Well, that's the first time I've ever heard that come through." But
That's right.
again, it's like, I'm still on the fence about those, but I really like to go back to classic items. Like one of my favorites is I have a jar that has a cork top on it, and I have a copper rod going down through and has a hook on the end, and I put two pieces of aluminum foil back to back on the hook. And EVPs, like if you take the I have a Tesla speaker. If you take the Tesla speaker and put it close to the coil, the copper coil that I have, it makes those pieces of aluminum foil jump apart. And it's one of the basic ones that doesn't
That's so
use
cool.
any type of electricity. And I've got some good video evidence from that. So,
Well, what would be your favorite, Bobby, if you had a go-to? And we're going to go right down the list with everyone here. What would be
honestly,
your go-to?
it's going to be the voice recorder. I love the voice recorder. The cameras are okay. The cameras
school,
a lot
yeah.
of times, the cameras are really, you get the orbs and you have the argument about the orbs, whether the orbs are dust or bugs or whatever you want to say. But I've seen some orbs that would make you think twice, regardless of what your preference is on that.
Yeah, and I get it. I'm not a
That's
big
for
fan of
sure.
orbs myself, but yeah, I get it. Like whatever you catch. Like I don't personally believe in the orbs, but I'm not a pro either. Like I just kind of do this for fun. Even though I've been doing it for years, I have to say I do it for fun because I don't think anyone. Well, my opinion is I don't think anyone's pro here because we haven't proven anything. But however, though, we're giving evidence out there to put the thought there that we know something is more. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So I see Ted on here a lot. He's talking about, he has books and all talking about the equipment. That's why I want to get into the equipment as well too, because we all have long talks about equipment and stuff like that. But see, he don't like orbs either. He's like me on that one. But all right, I want to go right down the list. Rob, your favorite piece of equipment and your thought process on the equipment itself.
I would have to say would be my personal feelers first. When we go in there, when I have the spidey sensors going crazy, there's something there. And like Bobby said earlier, I don't hear and I don't see, but I feel. And he gets EVPs all the time when we go out and do this. The second thing, though, and probably these are the most important two things, would be Holly and Jesse. We have had some amazing conversations, and if you've watched any of the videos in the last like 5 videos or so, very, very intense, very they're just crazy, and these two are just so accurate that it really scares the shit out of me sometimes.
Yeah.
Well,
but yeah, props to Jesse and Holly.
You took actually the words that I was going to say. When I was going to go to those two, I was going to say you guys technically are one of the main tools. I mean, literally, and main equipment right there. Holly,
and we also hung a video out. We also hung a video out on our YouTube page on there, specifically dealing with orbs, and it's basically making the argument: should we consider that as evidence or not? And this is what you're going to see at every single location. It's only about a 5-minute video. You should check it out.
I will. Yeah, 100%. I'm actually going to use that same question with the equipment, but I'm going to ask Jesse and Holly the same question, but I want you guys to bounce off each other. You two being equipment itself, the feeling you get, just going into it, like what's your process? Because you guys are vital.
Oh, I think the first couple times I went on investigations, and again, I'm the newbie, right? So I've only been doing this for about 6 months. I think I've got a total of 4 or 5 investigations under my belt now. So the first couple times I would try to carry like the tech equipment, and really found that I ended up more blocked than anything because I was so focused on trying to figure out the equipment that I wasn't paying attention to myself as a tool. And a wise woman told me, stop doing that. Just go in as yourself. And so the first time that I think Holly and I were in the same location at the same time, Rob was taking us through as a walkthrough, and this was an undisclosed location. And I was walking through with my journal, just writing down my initial thoughts as I walked into each room, not sharing them with anybody, not talking about them with anybody, just writing down, how did I feel? What were my initial impressions? What questions did I have? What was I getting? And at the same time, Rob and Holly were kind of walking around, and he was doing those things. I think I started to lag behind at one point. Rob even had to come back and get me because, we try not to leave folks alone for very long in any location. And then we were downstairs, and Holly was talking about her experiences and what she was experiencing in the different rooms and things like that. And I was like, oh, and I'm flipping back through my journal and going, I got the same thing. And, there was no conversation in between. We were never alone together. And so I think that was some validation. Holly is amazing at what she does. So it was really neat as kind of the newbie to be able to sit back and go, okay, I'm getting it. I'm getting it. I'm starting to trust myself. I'm starting to get it. I did something at our last investigation that I haven't done, and I brought my tarot cards and my oracle cards, which are a great tool that I use and I really enjoy, and had even used it the entire week before we went, just focusing in on, what's waiting for us there. What do we need to know going in? And, and Holly was able to pull out her dowsing rods at the same time. We were trying to figure out how we were going to approach a certain situation and really relying on our spirit guides to help guide us to the right answer. And it was really neat the way that we were really able to play off each other and match each other and validate. So that's kind of been my experience.
I got to read. This is very small lettering.
Comment.
Genevieve, read that. This is like friggin' braille to me right now.
Hey, we're all investigators and we do what we love. I hold nothing against anyone that uses all those gadgets. Personal experiences are worth more than any ghost box or SLS. I would use personal experiences over any gadget.
Absolutely.
And then we got a follow-up from Teddy. Also, experiments, recreation, validation is very important.
Speaking of the validation too, like we're gonna go to Holly real quick, but I want to go right back to Bobby. Thank you all for being a part of the paranormal field. We all have something to bring to the day. That's the truth. No matter how you do it, how you experience it, you're absolutely trying to expand the minds of people, educate, and just show that there's more. It is what it is. That's the biggest question. What happens when we die? And none of us have an answer, really, until we're dead. It's kind of morbid,
and then it's
but
too late.
Yeah,
we're looking for it.
Right. And we have loved ones and friends who pass, and all of us want to say, hey, let's find a medium. Let's say hi to the person we love and shit like that. So it's like there's necessary jobs here for all of us, and we can only hope, and that's why we do what we do. Anyway, enough for that rant. All right, going into it.
Mama's here. She says you're back online.
Well, wait, it's too late now. What do you want me to do about it? Christ.
Stop the show.
All right, Bobby, we're going to go to you in a moment. But Holly, before you go to an investigation, because you are equipment, knowing what you do, when you research a place, can you feel it first just by looking at a picture of it?
So I have a couple of ways that I can see and feel things. So usually about the week, so I never investigate. I don't want to know anything about a building ever. If you tell me the address and like how to get there, that's all I want to know. I use my GPS to get there, and that's it. Normally, and Jess can contest to this, about a week prior to an investigation, I can tell you rooms that I'm seeing. I can tell you smells, and I can tell you key players. So in and itself, sometimes that's scary because, some spirits, not knowing them, are not always forthright. So they can kind of misguide you sometimes. So you try to, so every psychic you will talk to will tell you that they see and hear and feel things differently. So how I get mine is, it's like you put a 1,500 piece puzzle on a table and you say, figure it out in 3 minutes or less. So my puzzle pieces all come together and I have to shift them to make them fit. So I will take key players, I will take places and things, and they kind of interlock to connect. So as I'm going through a building, I have to really make sure I know where I'm at. I have to make sure who's around me and what I'm doing. One thing I am very careful about before an investigation is I have to make sure that I protect myself. I open myself up way too quickly. Things can happen even in my own home, and I've been known to bring things home with me. So I try to also make sure that I do my little ritual beforehand and after, to make sure that I don't have a basement filled with people that I don't necessarily want here. So for me, dealing with the buildings, it's kind of like it just comes very naturally to me. If you walk through a building and using your phone, I can tell you everything I hear, see, smell, and taste, and I can tell you things that have happened in that room without you telling me that it's happened. So
Beautiful.
yeah, I kind of can get it all, which can be overwhelming. I tend to feel pretty drained after an investigation. So I try to, like I tell everybody, take the moment when you have it and get off the property to rejuvenate what you have. Sometimes when spirit knows you have this gift, they tend to want to use it because some of them have waited a long time to give a voice to themselves, and you are that voice for them. So you try to tell their story as best as you can with the information that they're giving you. On the last investigation, we had a spirit that had been pretty much from other people talking about when they had went into the room, was an angry spirit. What it was is she was a spirit that did not speak. She knew signals and she could tell us things. And what it was is she had had a connection with an orderly at this building. And he brought her candy on a regular basis. And she was upset. For many years, she had not got candy. So she was trying to let people know her anger was not because she hated people. It was not because she was upset, that she wanted candy.
That's
So once somebody found out what was going on, and how we did it is I kept saying to the gentleman, he walked into the room and I was way on the other side of the end, and I said, what is at the window? And he kept saying, there's nothing at the window. I don't see anything. I said, no, it's in the lower right-hand corner of the window. He's like, I see a hornet and I see a candy wrapper. And I said, jeepers creepers. And my hand was on fire. And I said, it's the candy. I said, she wants us to know she wants candy. So Rob ran downstairs. We always have our snacks for the investigation. Rob grabbed a bunch of candy, asked permission to enter the room, and she shook her hand like, no, 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 no. So she only wanted one person in the room at a time. The gentleman took the candy, and it was like the room just felt completely different. Her energy was different. So
how gorgeous is a story like that? Because simplicity lives in the afterlife. When someone not just wants to be heard, but simply just wants to be noticed and wants to be happy just for candy being left there. I mean, how amazing is that?
Yeah. It was pretty overwhelming. And Jess's son, it was really funny. I thought because when I first seen her, she had like a little peasant dress, very dirty. And I kept saying, she's so dirty. She was not dirty. She had chocolate that was given to her and she had it on her mouth. So to hide her little secret of getting candy, she would wipe her face and wipe it on her dress. Jess's son said, "Why do I smell chocolate? He just walked by me." And we all started laughing because 2 seconds prior to that, I said, "She loves chocolate." And he's like, "Why do I smell chocolate?" And we were all laughing. And he's like, "What did I just walk into?" And we're like, "This is what's going on." And he was like, "That's so weird. I smell it." And we're like, "Welcome to our world." So
That's interesting though. Like
I'm gonna want coffee, just so you know. I'm gonna want coffee when I'm gone.
We have to in a moment. We're gonna do a late commercial break in a moment because I got to get 2 more questions because the second half of the show I actually want to talk about all your investigations, the YouTube and stuff like that, and I want you guys to actually start explaining things. But we're gonna go over to Bobby in a moment. I actually forgot what I was gonna say right there. We were talking about anyway. I'll remember in a moment. Bobby, we were talking about analysis. The hours it takes of what you go through. When you watch these videos for hours on end, at what point do you say, I gotta stop because I may be seeing shit and I can't validate it? What makes you say this is what is real and what's not real? Like you have to go through this.
So usually when I bounce my face off the keyboard, I usually take a break for a little bit.
Yeah.
It's
Me too.
It's really mind numbing when you're going through the evidence. The worst part was our first camera setup was we had all security cameras, but they had no audio to them, so it was just silent video and nothing moving and orb here, orb there, and I'm like, this can't be happening. So the newer stuff that we have is better because you have audio with it, but it makes no difference. They break them down into 10-minute segments, and you have to sit there and watch 10-minute segments. And like I just separated all my videos that we just did. And on the static cameras, I have 129 on one camera and 110 on the other camera. So yeah, and each one is like 10 minutes long. So that's going to take.
And that's just the static cameras.
That's just those cameras. That's not including the zooms that we have or the audio or anything else. So
It's a lot.
yeah, it's a lot to go through. But when we find something, we make a list. I have a prime example of a list as I'm going through shit, and this is just going through and starting marking down stuff that you see and trying to see if that's what it, if it's something that needs to be noted or posted, and then we cross check each other. Right now, at the moment, it's me and Rob going through most of it, and I'll have him cross check my stuff because we both have the same stuff. We're trying to set up a networking thing so that way everybody can jump in, and I can
Share
do
the
like
love.
a server. I can do a server where everybody can just jump on the server and pull out videos, and everybody can watch it.
Yes,
But
Bobby says that they're doing most of it. I got to give props. They're doing all of it.
Yeah.
Rob and Bobby are doing all of the review, and we can't say thank you enough to them.
Yeah.
Because
we get the, hey, we found something. What do you think?
Yep.
Those two go through all of it. And that's, as they say, it's like 1% excitement, 99% boredom.
So, and the numbers that Bobby just gave you, that's only his portion.
Yeah.
I also have the cameras set up, and we generally do the same amount of cameras out there. And I had somewhere around 300 videos to go through on the last trip, and I believe Bobby was right around the same one, but the same number when you combine all the zooms and all the other cameras and everything else.
Yeah.
Rob, do you want to talk a little bit about, you've taken a different approach this time to how you're putting together videos and things like that?
So on this go around, we've used our zoom cameras a lot more than the static cameras, and I'm just going to be honest with you. It's a lot easier to look at 30 videos versus 300. And quite honestly, the static cameras, they sit in obscure areas or areas where we think there's going to be hot spots, and they sit there for like 48 hours. Right. That's not including the interview. I'll call them interviews, where we go in and we talk to spirit, or we try to talk to spirit, or we we get run out of the room by spirit or whatever the case may be, we'll generally try to take those Zooms with us.
Right.
And my focus is really thinking the change is going to be, we'll set the static cameras up, but let's focus the meat and potatoes on what we actually do and not what might happen down inside of the hallways.
Right. Like on the EVPs and the Zoom cameras, the ones that we can put like right in our face, not the ones that are capturing everything. And then we can go back and use the other ones as reference if we need to. Or if we catch something, we see something, we can go back and, pull it back up and review it on site. And I always bring a computer with me. That way we can rip it off and make a video real quick and post it if we have to. And we always said that we weren't going to go live, but I think we're going to start going live occasionally through some of these experiments that we do.
We've had a lot of requests.
Yeah, the biggest problem is again, it goes back to my love-hate relationship with the camera and the phone and doing the evidence, because you get a lot of false negatives when it comes to, or false positives when it comes to your equipment going off as you're live. But we're just gonna have to figure that out and how that's gonna work the best.
Well, when you guys go live, sorry, Rob. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I just got something to say with the live thing. When you go live, you have more eyes on the environment. Wouldn't that help you as far as like if someone sees shit, you could go back and research that?
Yeah, it's like I said, the biggest thing is like the K2. If you're live, your K2 is going to sit there and just pop the entire time. So any of the not as far as the psychics and sensitives we have, it's not going to mess with them, but it's going to mess with the other equipment that we have. I've had it mess with everything from the Mel meter to the REM pod to it's almost every piece of equipment. So
now, Rob, you were going to chime in on that one. What were you going to say, brother?
So the nice thing about with the new way that I'm proposing that we go is looking at the Zooms. The Zooms have an IR light on them. They have kind of like a different, like a bluish hue to them, and it really cancels out about 99.89% of the dust particles that are floating around. The other cameras that we have, the static cameras, I mean, you just walk down the aisleway or you lift your arm up. I mean, you can see things move and everything else. So a good example, when we were at McIntyre, Bobby and I went up into John and Anna's room, and I sat on a settee, and then Bobby sat down on the bed, and basically Bobby had said something. He started a conversation, and we saw an orb come down the hallway, come into the room, around the bed, up the settee, and up towards Bobby, and it was like flashing the whole way there. And then Bobby says, "Well, if anybody's there and you're over by Rob, can you give a wave?" And the cool thing about this is there was an orb that started, or a light anomaly that started from underneath me, and it came out towards the bed, and it got just just within distance of the camera, and then it did like a little figure eight, and then it went right back to me, and it looked like it flew like right into my leg. So the stuff that we catch up with the Zoom cameras is more, I want to say, more definable than it is with the static cameras.
Yeah. Indeed. Yeah, those Zooms are pretty intense. And like I said, a lot of people argue about the orbs, and we try not to call them orbs as much as possible. We call them light anomalies, but when they come out and they do figures, or they swirl around something, or come down a hallway against a wind that's blowing down the hallway, and they come back against the wind. I mean, that's it to me. And if it has a trajectory or a path that it's taking, to me, I've actually seen those light anomalies with my eyes, not just on the camera. Right. And when you see those, it's kind of like, wow, when they have a path and they follow you, or they come over your leg or follow up your arm and then take off away from you real quick. I mean, those are really hard to not say that's something paranormal.
Well, I've seen some light anomalies in some of the videos. Before we go to break, I want to put this in the mind real quick. Genevieve, do you have the full commercial that we could actually play to take like a
I'm gonna
good few minute
try.
break? All right, cool.
I'm gonna try.
We'll do that. What we're going to get into now for the second half of the show, we're going to get into the actual investigations themselves. Genevieve, you are you have the Jersey Shore ghost tours at which you do history. I want you to ask them some questions about the history that the research that they do about the history of the places, and then we're going to go right into the investigations themselves and talk about some of them, especially some of the ones that you mentioned to me the other night that are on YouTube, and we'll go from there. Genevieve, hit us with a commercial, guys.
All right, we're gonna try it. Let's see if it works. Wish me luck.
Indeed.
WLFE Digital Broadcast Network is on TV. You can watch all of our shows on WLFE-DB.com. Check out our channels. Paranormal View for all of your paranormal type shows. LGBTQ Friends for all of our LGBTQ shows. Variety Unlimited for all other shows. It runs 24/7 right on WLFE-DB.com. You'll even catch the lives, all in one place. Never miss an episode, past or future. WLFE-DB.com, where our shows are your shows. Search for your favorite shows like Where's My Sage, Inside the Drag Closet, Across the Pond, Everything Yet Nothing, Paratalk Radio, Step into the Paranormal, The Creepy Parlor, Just Cindy, and more. Now you won't miss an episode. Remember, follow Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Make sure you subscribe and follow your favorite WLFE-DB radio shows. You can find our shows where you listen to your favorite podcasts, like Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and more. WLFE-DB Radio is looking for podcasts to join our family. You don't have to fit any strict genre. We're a plethora of shows. If you're looking to jump on a growing network, then contact us at WLFEDBradio@gmail.com.
Wow, Amazon Music just got a whole lot better. Your favorite shows from WLFE-DB Radio can now be found there. Yes, we are on Amazon Music, found under podcasts. Download the app, find podcasts, and search all of your favorite shows. Shows like Where's My Sage? Across the Pond, Everything Yet Nothing, Skeptical Help Bar, The Creepy Parlor, Just Cindy, and much more. Now you don't have to miss an episode ever. Amazon Music is WLFE-DB Radiofied.
More from WLFE-DB Radio Network after this.
Hey guys and dolls, this is Casey DeVille, the better half of DeVille Inc., Baltimore, Maryland. If you're ever in Baltimore, stop in and see me and Tony. Invisible Bree, 5920 Eastern Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21224. Give us a call if you're in the area at 410-400-9641, or look us up on the web at DeVilleInc.com. DeVille Inc., where we specialize in you.
Oh, yeah. Life just got sweeter now that WLFE-DB has merchandise. Show your support by purchasing your t-shirts for WLFE, Paratalk Radio, Inside the Drag Closet, and more. But it doesn't stop there. T-shirts, coffee mugs, tanks, buttons, cloth bags, and more. Go to WLFE-DB.com. On the top bar, click on the merchandise tab and bam, there you go. You got merch. Support the shows. WLFE-DB.com. You're listening to WLFE-DB Radio. Now, back to our program.
All right, my friends, we are back. Get this all set up again the right way. Technical difficulties tonight, but we are here. All right, so guys, we are in the second half of the show. I want to take this moment, Genevieve. We're going to go through where to find all them, but everyone, take a moment to like, share, follow WLFE-DBradio.com. The variety of shows that are over there. The hosts do their thing, and we're all a big family here. Genevieve, you have a show tomorrow night, the Creepy Parlor, and
I do.
go into it.
So my show is on Tuesdays at 7. It's the Creepy Parlor, and it's from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern. And I specialize in all sorts of weird, gothic, macabre, and other creepy topics.
Sweet.
Indeed.
Can you guys see? I'm having really bad technical difficulties here.
Oh, you're joining the
too.
It's the full moon.
It is. It is.
Everybody's frozen.
Yep.
Everybody's frozen. I can still see everyone. Everyone raised their left hand. I can see everyone except everyone, Genevieve.
I can't see anybody. It just says "Welcome back to our program" on my screen.
All right, so if everyone can see it, actually, everyone stand by real quick. Just stand by.
Standing by.
In 5.
Because I don't have a camera or a mic on that.
We are, according to outside source, so let's just go into it. Genevieve, can you hear?
So I can hear. We have somebody in the green room.
Okay, wait.
Or do you want to wait?
Yeah, we got to wait till the end for that. I know who you are, my brother.
Cindy, I don't think I can go out and come back in because I think I'll shut the show down.
Yeah, do not come back in. Just chill out.
Ryan.
We'll come back. Anyway, all right. With the history of places that you guys go into, you have to research slightly, right? Or heavily. How do you guys do it before you go into these destinations?
Well, there's those of us that don't want to know anything. I'm with Holly, and I don't want to know anything about the location outside of what the building has been used for. And that's for my own protection as far as walking in, because walking into a building that's been used as a private residence or, like a boarding house is different than walking into a building that was, a tuberculosis hospital, right? And so that's about the only thing that I want to know. I know that Bobby does do some history and research on locations prior to us walking in, just so that we have some information going in. And so, Bobby, I'll let you speak to that.
Yeah, I usually just look up all the research I can of what the building was used for, when it was built, when it was established at whatever it was, and who owned it, any key names that we might come across. But I don't really look into the paranormal aspect of it till after we're already there, because a lot of buildings, they have, like prime example, a location that we went to. I went there first before I did any research about it, and then I did some research while we were there because nobody had any history on it, and I found a bunch of stuff that didn't coincide with the story they were telling, but it was matching up to everything that we were getting, all the evidence that we started getting, and then afterwards I started looking up the paranormal aspect of it, and 6-7 years ago, a team came in and experienced some of the same stuff that we experienced, but it wasn't documented on the actual history of the location. So, that's just some of the type of stuff I try to do. I look for as much as I can as far as when it was built, who owned it, and if anyone died in the location or if there was any murders or anything like that. So,
well, Bobby, I got a question before we go to everyone else as far as that whole aspect. See, when I research places, anyone could Google search anything. I personally go to the locals when I visit a structure, whether it's a house. I ask everyone what they heard about it and the tales of the locals. The locals are the biggest part for me. Is that an aspect that you guys use in that range?
I haven't used that, but what I do is I go to the historical society for the locations, and when you pull up their website, you can usually find more of the history of the location itself. I generally don't talk to the locals because I don't know if you've experienced it, but when you the Many Faces Bed and Breakfast, when we went there, I talked to some of the locals. Every one of them had a ghost story to tell me, and
Right.
that's one thing that I try and avoid until after I have gone through at least one investigation. So,
Got you.
Well,
that's where I go with that.
That's interesting to me. I'm a ghost tour guide. I own a ghost tour business, so I do a lot of history in my stories. But one of the issues I have when I do go talk with the locals is that I get a lot of pushback with how the stories might get perceived. So that sometimes complicates things for me a little bit.
Yeah.
I always
And
say
that
go
also-
take to a bar, buy them a beer, and you'll get all the stories you want to hear.
Oh no, we get the stories.
And some.
We definitely get the
How much time
stories,
you
but
got?
yeah.
And that also, in my opinion, that also feeds into what you're going in and what you're looking at when you go into these locations. For me, when I go into a location, if I'm going, oh, well, so-and-so said they saw an old lady that, has blue hair that's up in the top room, and we go up to that room. So I'm looking for the old lady with the blue hair, and generally when you feed into that story, and I think it's some of the other team's opinion, but when you feed into a story enough, that story becomes real, whether you want it to be real or not, or whether it is real or not. They take on that manifestation of whatever that is, whatever that story is. So
I think for us, and I don't know about Jess, but for me, I always say I don't want to know anything. I think for me, the investigating kind of comes after we've actually done the investigation, because then if I look at the aspects that come up to me and the people and maybe some of the names, and then afterwards I'm like, holy shit, like I was spot on in that room, or that person really did have a meaning. Or, like at the last investigation, literally we were Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 3 days. And the whole time we were there sat a 3-ring binder of the whole history of the building that we were at. And not a one of us touched it, looked at it until Sunday. And I'm like, did you all know this was here? And we're like, who did this? And we're like, must be the owner. Well, we started looking through it, and the things that were in this book were things that we had found and had no idea that they were already in this book. 3 days we had all sat on it and didn't even know it was there. So for us, it's like a little gem that we find after we already had our findings. So I don't know. I just think it's, to me, like I believe, like with Rob, those guys were saying that if you go in with an idea that this is what's going to happen, I can be powerful enough that I think I can manifest like things in my own head. So I don't even want to even have that go there. Like, it's just, I don't want to do it.
I believe you. I believe in 100% manifestations. Actually, tonight is a huge manifestation night. It's the last night that the planets are aligned, actually, with under this pink moon. Why everything's all fucked up. All right. So what I want to do from here, this is as we speak investigations. I'm gonna kind of pick one because we're what do we got, Genevieve? 40 minutes left or so.
Yep.
What we're gonna do at the end. I'm just gonna pick a topic from your YouTube channels, and before we go into the topic, any one of you explain the YouTube and what you find there.
So the YouTube is we share of our videos, anything that we've captured, any evidence we have. We generally we can't go live yet. Obviously, we don't have enough followers. Hint, hint, come follow us. And
you can find them right there, scrolling at the bottom.
Absolutely.
At the bottom, guys. Please take some time to go subscribe.
Yeah. We post everything that we can, all of our videos. We try and answer questions if anybody has questions, which we don't have a lot of followers on there yet, but we have a lot of followers on Instagram and Facebook. And we really try and put ourselves out there with these platforms. And as far as the platforms go, we do we do help other people. Like we had a call with someone that has an issue in their house, and we're actually going there next weekend. It's someone who really needs some assistance, who's scared and doesn't know how to deal with it. And they called me, so we have a number. It's on our Facebook that you can call and get a hold of us, and we can assist in certain aspects that that people don't understand. So
Yeah, and you guys do it with great nature too, as I've noticed. I'm gonna say 2 words in a moment. Within the markers that we have left, I want you guys to explain this. We could go into other stories if we have time, but I want Genevieve and I are gonna kind of sit back here for a moment. We're gonna listen, and I want the team here to explain this. All right, the entire process, all of it. Finding sunshine.
go ahead, Rob.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, because it says I'm backstage again.
No, you're loud and clear.
Nope.
Okay, cool. Finding sunshine. How far back do you want us to go?
You got 30 minutes.
Rob, I think you should start with the first time you were there with your other team.
All right. So the first time I was at this location, we had a spirit that we crossed over. Come to find out that there was a rape and a murder, or a rape and a double murder, or a murder-suicide. We're not sure which. And that was my first crossing. And once we got through with that, I lost my noodles and I had to leave and go outside. The team came out about 15 minutes later, and so I thought that only the one spirit had been crossed, and that left in my mind the lady named Alice. For 4 or 5 months, that really hit me hard. I would have dreams of her at night, or dreams of the spirit, dreams of everything that was going on, and we had to go back. That was 6 months ago. Bobby, Terry, and I, on the last day, we decided that we're going to kick the doors in and we're going to free this spirit. We're going to get her out of there so that she would no longer be oppressed by the entity that was holding her. And we barnstormed that room. We kicked the doors in, and I started in with my prayers and offering, things that we could do.
We were only at like 35%. Let me
Yes,
add
yes.
that
This is that.
we were not good at that point.
Yeah, so
Probably shouldn't have done that.
yeah, we shouldn't have done that. 100%. And then we got the smell of sulfur down inside of that room, and Bobby called no joy. And without a question, Terry and I, we backed out. I'm not going to lie to you. We left in a hurry, and I stopped about every 30 feet or so and threw a prayer down and said, "You can't follow us. Lord, protect us. Give me the 3 layers." And we'd go another 30 feet, and I'd stop and I'd do another prayer. And we essentially ran out of that building. For 6 months or so, another 6 months, that lady kept coming into my mind. And I would have dreams about her. I would give her prayers at night. And so this time we went up there, and that was one of the rooms that Jesse had a hard time going in the last time. And we had a hard time this time going in there. And we said, we're going to do it. We're going into this room, and we're going to do what we can do. I don't know how far in detail you want me to go with the end result so people can watch the videos, or
I would rather not play. Personally, I would rather just the experience alone. I want them to go and watch this because it's amazing.
So this is really a story of another young woman that was being sexually molested and held against her will. And I will say there is a turn of events that was completely unexpected. When we found out what was going on, I really beat myself to death because, in my opinion, I should have understood what was going on, and I did not.
I think, when Rob says I had a hard time going into that room, I remember the first time walking through, I mentioned earlier about walking through the building with my journal, right? And just kind of going into each room. And I remember very specifically going into this room, and I just knew instinctively I couldn't touch anything. It was so overwhelming. The sadness and the pain and the hurt, the fear, like it brings tears to my eyes now because I can recall all of those emotions so strongly that I apparently literally fell to my knees in the middle of the room. And Terry, who is definitely very, very gifted, she's kind of our armor, right? She's our shield. She's with us to make sure that we're safe and is able to pull us back. And she literally had to pull me up off my knees and pull me out of the room the first time we were there, because there was just so much hurt in that room. And so going back in the second time, I remember going up to the top of the stairs, and Holly and I think we were kind of at the lead. And I said, Holly, where are we going? And she beelined for that room. And I was like, oh, hell, here we go. This is not where I want to be right now, but apparently this is where we're needed. Rob talked about his connection to Alice and the dreams and things like that. And I think I mentioned earlier that I also drew cards, tarot cards and oracle cards throughout the week before we went. And the one thing that I kept getting was that there was innocence. There was a lot of anger in that building, but there was innocence there that needed support, needed love, and needed help. And for me, the cards didn't obviously name Rob specifically, but in my heart and my head, I knew that Rob was our key there, and that he had to be a part of that. And again, it's that connection to the divine, right? He is who we needed, in addition to the rest of our team, because we work very much as a team. And I think you see that in the videos. I think Cindy just asked, where can we find your team videos? If you go to our Facebook page, we have the links to our YouTube and our Instagram on there, and the videos are uploaded on all 3 platforms.
So currently, if she goes to the YouTube page, all the videos are there. I'm still in the process of trying to get the others caught up. So if I could add to what you're saying, for those who haven't seen the videos yet, there's a series of 5 videos in there. One's chatting with Matthew, or having a word with Matthew, and the finding sunshine.
Right.
I talked to you the other day, and I said that I lost my cool and I lost my temper inside of there.
Explain this, brother. Get into that. I'm glad you're going into it.
These 2 things. I'm sorry.
Take your time. Absolutely, take your time.
This is why they call me a crier.
Indeed.
So I'll help you out a little, Rob.
Yeah.
I'll give you a second. So I opened up in the room. Rob was asking some questions. This male spirit that was in the room did some not so nice things as I was trying to open up. Literally, as Jess said, takes you to your knees. I had everything I could do. It felt like it crushed my spine. Rob, at that point, as I said, he's like my big brother. I'm like his little sister. Rob was like, that's it. No one fucks with my family. And he did. He lost his shit. He was like, this is just unacceptable. Like this, so he went in there and he spoke his piece. So are you okay now?
Yeah. So we got Holly out of the room. Tom came in with me. He went to the door, and there was a spirit there that was very, very angry with me. I sat down in the chair and I put my back to it, and I was doing what I said I would never do. I was actually provoking this spirit, saying, I'm here, and you kicked my chair, and I'm intimidated now. Shaking my head no. And then you can feel the fingers tapping on the back of the chair. And I said, well, do what you're going to do. And so long story short, there was an ugly Rob in there that lost his cool, and he got the best of me right there. And I will tell you that I failed him. Instead of coming from the approach of you hurt my person, I'm going to tell you that I love you and that we're gonna figure this out, which is the approach that I wanted to take on there, but I lost my temper. And that also feeds into two of the movies. That's Words with Matthew. So the both scenarios extending back from a year and a half basically come to a head later that evening in two of the videos that we've done that are located out on the YouTube page.
And when they go watch those videos, they'll be able to witness the techniques that you guys use as a group all together. When you said the light anomalies earlier, I noticed I believe it was just under 6 minutes of the Finding Sunshine one. Just under 6 minutes, there was a light that just blew right up into a shoulder area. And I'm not going to say anything, nothing like that. I want the viewers to go watch, and it's interesting. It's highly interesting, and I would actually love to work with you guys in the future, and we'll see where it all goes. But yeah, I mean, I really, coming from an investigator that I am, Genevieve is a history buff going into
storyteller. I'm a
history
storyteller.
Excuse me, sorry, more technical difficulties, Genevieve. In reality, when I look at you guys, okay, so I judge a book by its cover. I really do. That's coming from the film world. That's why I'm kind of an asshole with shit like that. But I don't like a lot of ghost hunting teams because, they just bring a lot of horse shit to the table. A lot of them just want to say they're a ghost hunter just for the nostalgia of saying, hey, I've hunted ghosts. Not a lot of people understand that it kind of takes weeks, days, years, months, even to get maybe a single hello or a breath in an EVP. The time it takes. These shows kind of take away from what we do. And coming from a personal experience, I want to say I really fucking appreciate you guys because I could see the family oriented nature of what you guys do.
That's awesome.
And I don't really see any kind of horse shit or bullshit that you guys would put across the table because you don't have anything to lose, honestly.
Nothing.
Nothing. Gain. You do this because you love it.
So Dom, if I could add to that is
sure.
We're not in it for the fame. We're not in it for YouTube likes or smashed buttons, ringing bells, whatever it is.
You're never going to make millions doing this.
We're not.
We might spend millions, but we're not going to make millions.
But our goal
that way, right?
Yeah, our goal is spirit. How do we help spirit? How do we help ourselves? How do we help each other in these situations? If it wasn't for Terry, if it wasn't for Tom, if it wasn't for Nikki, if it wasn't for Judy, if it wasn't for any person on this team, we would have a huge hole in this team. And right. I just have to say that I absolutely love everybody on this team, and I fully trust everybody on this team. And like you said, we have nothing to lose on this. We have everything to gain, and it's all about spirit. It's not about us.
Yep. Right.
I will say on the Finding Sunshine, you asked us what were our feelings going into this investigation, and earlier I said, when I see this, it's a puzzle for me, and I have to manipulate the puzzles to make it fit. With Finding Sunshine, the puzzle never came together. There was always pieces missing.
Not till the end.
It exactly that night, this last week that we did this, a year and a half, the puzzle finally was complete. You will understand that once you see the video. All I can say is it won't disappoint. For me, it was probably, and as Jess said, it's like hard to hold back the tears because you do realize that in all of these buildings, there's stories. There are people, there are emotions, there are feelings, and they just want to be heard. They don't, I think behind every grumpy old man is a story. I think behind
why they're grumpy. Is their
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I got to be grumpy.
Exactly. And I think as a good investigator and as a good team, you should go into every building saying, I'm here to tell your story. Because if you don't, you have failed the people that you're there to look for. So
I think one of the things that we would really strive for is to go into every investigation looking through it as through a lens of compassion and empathy. Cindy, thank you for subscribing to our YouTube. I just saw that come in, and
I can't see comments, but guys, I apologize. I usually bouncing back in and out. So Cindy and all the viewers that are watching. I mean, honestly, these guys are just on point. This is what a paranormal team should look like. And I say that with an open heart because I've had teams and I investigate by myself now. I have not found a family like you guys are able to investigate together and bounce off each other, and you guys know that you guys are telling each other the truth. So I hope to find
now
that.
Making a trip to the Midwest.
We can make this a 4-state team if you really want to, Don.
Well, it's
That's
called
what I'm talking about.
Well, and that's the other thing that Cindy
I
asked
said
in
I
the
am
comments.
down. We have a history person. We have an investigator who doesn't give a shit, and I have a lot of network up north and down south. So let's make something
Game
happen.
on.
Hey, so when you asked about feelers and how we felt about this, with that 1.5 year history, Bobby was there on that initial night when the one body was crossed over, and we came back down to the location where that double homicide, blah blah blah, happened. Coming back this time, I had a lot of fear, and I really felt like Terry, Bobby, and I had a big target on our back because of the way we entered the room in there, and Spirit let us know that we were not welcome there, but we were going to deliver a message, and come hell or high water, we delivered the message. I will say that battle we lost. We did leave the building in quite a hurry, rightly so. But I really felt like the three of us specifically had targets on our back the whole time we were there.
Right. Well, we're going to do, because we have only got about 20 minutes left. I'm going to take the last 10 minutes out to run a couple ads for people and stuff like that. And I've got a good buddy coming on because he's doing something good in the world as far as what they do. But I want to take this last actually 8 minutes now. All of you as a team, tell everyone how to get a hold of you and what you have coming up next. I mean, this is important because this is the cycle. You guys are constantly moving. What's next for you guys?
Well, we've got several locations coming up. We've got, they're all about mid-month, everything we have, but we have something every month till December. We don't really do anything in December because no thanks. I'm not driving through fucking snow again. That's, ice storms and bullshit.
My least favorite thing.
So
there's a blizzard in January. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be a good time, they said.
Yeah. 4 hours for a 2.5 hour drive. Yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, I mean, we have something coming up mid-month every month. And then some things in between that, we're going to put here and there that are just going to be small little investigations just with a small part of us. But I think we have Broadhead coming up next, Broadhead Manor in Wisconsin. And then we have Boyd House the following. And then we have Nathaniel Hamlin the month after that. And then we go to Beatty Mansion the month after that. Stevenson Building in Wymore, Nebraska. And then we go to Malvern Manor and then Edinburgh. So we have a full session going on. So
is that listed on your Facebook page at all?
We don't have that listed.
Okay.
But we probably can list it if we need to. Wouldn't take nothing to do that. We do have it listed on our personal team page where we just share between the group. But we can probably post it so everybody can see it. Just some of them we have to mark undisclosed because we can't say what they are yet or where they're at. So
Yeah, this year we're staying pretty local to the Midwest. I think next year we'd like to branch out maybe a little further. We all have kind of our dream locations that we'd like to go to.
Went to one of my dream locations. Yeah, I went to Waverly Hills 2 years ago, so that was a good one.
Well, and it was funny because when we all got together, I mean, it happened pretty quickly, and it was kind of like, hey, so now that we're together, who wants to investigate and where do we go? So at that time, it was kind of late in the season. So we were like, let's hope we can get into some of these places to begin with. And once we can, it's kind of like, who can go, who can't go, and let's see what we can do, even if it's just 4 of us or 3 of us. So it was kind of like, let's just start booking. So it just kind of all like, you know, when we always say the divine intervention, it was kind of like everything, the alignment was there. And we've got some pretty good investigations on our plate for the next, you know, several months. So yeah, we look forward to everything from here on out.
Well, Holly, you gotta write me, personal message me at times when you guys are going on location, so I could actually share and follow whatever I need to do to support you guys. I mean,
I'll share.
Yeah, sure.
I want to be part of your family. And I
you already are.
I don't know.
You're welcome.
About this. For a future show, on the Creepy Parlor, why don't we?
Yeah, I'll definitely be in touch with you guys.
And audience get to watch the Finding Sunshine and the reuniting and all that. Maybe, you know, we kind of got all the outer stuff out. Maybe we do a recap on the Creepy Parlor one day, Genevieve.
Oh, that would be a lot of fun.
That would be awesome.
We can get creepy, Genevieve.
Rob has got creepy down.
And then maybe we could
for the end of the year, we're gonna have a bloopers reel. For
yes,
all
we
the
are.
funny things that happen.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh, yes.
Fun.
Yeah, you say that because you're not in it, Genevieve. Wait.
I feel like
I already have about 5 victims for it.
all of my technological issues are a bloopers reel tonight.
Well,
so one of the keys to our success so far is the dad jokes. It's the dad jokes.
Yeah. That was one of our favorite ones. Is we were talking to Goldie at McIntyre Villa, and he goes to tell one of the dad jokes, and we have the RTC box going, and he says, "So can I tell you a joke?" And he says, "Sure." And it came through clear as day. Came through, and he was like, "All right." So he told the dad joke, and he asked the question, and then.
What do you call a man with no arms and no legs that lays in front of your door?
And he goes,
Matt.
It says go. And he says, Matt. And then all of a sudden you hear, ha! And I mean, it came through just clear, just perfectly on time with everything. I mean, it was great.
But when I asked if she wanted another one, she said, no.
Just like the rest of us, Rob. Just like
one is enough.
You guys have so much shit to be talked about. Like, this is why we're gonna just do it again. We're gonna have to do it again.
Yes,
absolutely.
Do it again with better internet connection.
Exactly.
Yeah, no. And I just want to say one time, this is how I'm gonna close with you guys as well. I want to give you my apologies that I'm thankful for Genevieve for being there as my sister. Thank you, Genevieve, in front of everyone.
You're very welcome.
You held it down fast and you held it on point. I much appreciate it, and you know much love, sis.
You are very welcome.
Thank you guys for being on this show for sure. You have my respect, straight up. Holly talked to me the other night, and she explained why she wanted to be here with Real Talk with Dom and Genevieve. And Holly, I really appreciate your thoughts on that, and thank you for noticing of what we do here.
You are quite welcome.
Absolutely. I want everyone who's watching to know that this is all about you guys as well. I mean, in reality, if it wasn't for you, Genevieve and I wouldn't be here. So thank you for sharing and following. We all notice. And take some time out to share, follow, subscribe to the guests that are on the night, because they deserve it as well. They're hardworking individuals doing something that they love, and they they have no gain from it. They just do it because they want to expand your mind and literally, just show the world that there's more. And my appreciation goes to you guys. So I want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being on Real Talk with Dom, for all the difficulties and you sticking with me tonight, guys. It means a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this point,
Thank you guys.
absolutely. I'm going to
Nice
do it
to meet
again.
you.
At this point, we're going to pull you guys out of the room, and then Holly and all of us will be in touch in the back chats. Probably not tonight because of the difficulties, but Holly, I'll call you guys tomorrow. And like I said, we all kind of have a couple beers in the back chat, and we all talk on certain nights. You guys are more than welcome to hang with me anytime you want.
Haunted happy hour.
And I'll
talk to them about the haunted happy hour.
I got 2 bottles of wine chilling. You might be sorry you said that.
I've got 4, Holly.
Genevieve, get up real quick. The haunted happy hour.
I've got some prune juice.
Yeah, so we have every other Thursday we meet on Zoom and we have a haunted happy hour. So I'll send you guys that information if you want to join us.
For sure.
There's homework involved, just so you know. There's homework.
And I never do it.
Okay, then we're good.
My friends, thank you for being here on Real Talk with Dom, and I'll see you again.
Thank you guys.
Thank
Nice
you.
to meet you.
Love and light, my friends.
Difficulties. Good night.
Much
Good night.
love. Indeed. Genevieve, that was great. What great people.
Yeah, they're awesome.
It's okay. Yeah, no, it's okay. What great people. Totally appreciate what they do. At this time, we have I'll tell you when to fire Genevieve. We have a good brother of mine. He's part of his own organization. He has his own show on a Sunday night called The Sideshow. Himself and his partners in crime. We love him to death. He's become a brother, family to me. And he's got something going on right now. I want the world to welcome my good brother, Chaos.
What's up, Dom? What's happening, my brother? Genevieve, how are you?
What's happening?
How are you?
What's going on, guys?
Sorry for the technical difficulties. All right, so scaryfaceman.com. This is where we go vote. Chaos, explain to the world what to do and how to get a hold of you as far as let's get you going as far as your votes, brother. Tell it.
All right. Well, first off, I'm a Texas haunt actor. I'm a haunt actor from Killers of the Night in Granbury, Texas. I'm in a Scare Actor Spectacular competition at scaryface.com. It's basically, we started out with, I think it's 169 people in round 1, or haunters from all over the world. And now we're in round 2, and somehow I've made it to advance. I'm up for votes this week. You can vote down there at the bottom of the screen, scaryface.com. Once per IP address per hour. And I could use every vote because it would, to be honest, it would blow my mind to get out of round 2.
Well, you deserve it, man. My mom's been sharing all day. Mama 2 books. I know all my other friends are. I've been sharing all day and voting and voting and voting. I know my.
I didn't realize.
That's what
I didn't realize we could vote more than once, so I'll go back and vote
every
more.
hour. You vote
every hour. Okay.
Take us a couple minutes out there, and there's 2 chaoses on there. I'm not going to say nothing to nothing, but chaos unright right here.
Yeah, there's 2 chaoses, and we're 2 people apart on the screen. So make sure you vote for the right one. Sorry about your luck, bro.
Chaos right there. And Chaos, explain your show, where to find you, brother. I mean, it's very important.
You can find me on Facebook. I have 2 Chaos Unright pages. I also have the Sideshow, and we have Squeaks Unright, Defaced Unright, Psycho Bunny Death Cult, Psycho Bunny DC, Psychomanthium 13, PBDC TV. Shit, I know there's something I'm forgetting. I know there is.
Red.
Oh yeah, Roots Bleed Red.
Indeed.
Real Talk with Dom, as you know. And there's Tom's World, Psychic Cindy.
Thank you, Cindy.
We got Farmer Damon on there growing shit too.
We got
yeah, that's so cool. I love seeing what he's got going on.
Creepy Parlor. God, there's so many. I need a list. I'm gonna have to put a list right here in the studio, just so I can 1, 2, 3,
Let's
4.
give you a test.
Yes, I'm gonna
We love
fail, but I'll take it anyways.
We
But
love it.
yeah, any votes, 1 vote per hour per IP address. So if you got a phone, you got a computer, you got a tablet, you see a kid walking down the street with a phone, go take it and vote real quick for me. Whatever you got to do, let's do this. Come on, guys, help me out.
And
Dom, I
Chaos,
appreciate it.
while helping you out here, like when the people help you out, they might want to know why. What does this do for you, brother? What does this mean to you, honestly?
To me, it's awesome. It's good. I love doing it. It gives me something to do in the off season because I mean they only let us hunt for 1 month a year. If you had it my
Isn't
way,
that crap?
every
That's just
weekend,
crap.
every weekend if I could do it. But it's all for just promotions.
Yeah. What
And
does a haunt consist of, though? Like, explain a haunt. Like, for someone who does not know, what is a haunt?
a haunt is it's basically an attack on all of your senses. At least our haunt is.
Yeah.
I mean, now our actors won't touch you, but there is stuff that will touch you, and I guarantee you, there's stuff that smells as well as bright lights, dark, crooked hallways. I mean, we're gonna assault all your senses, but everything short of us physically touching you, you will hate us. But you will come back the next year because you'll have that much fun.
Love it. All right, Chaos, one more time, man. Tell everyone how to get a hold of you and where to vote and what to do, brother. Just the stage is yours, man.
There you go. Scurryface.com, Scare Actor Spectacular. I'm in Group B, Chaos Unright. I'm going to say it again, Chaos Unright. You can find me and follow, like, share, subscribe. Chaos Unright and the Sideshow on YouTube. Chaos Unright, the Sideshow on Facebook, as well as Instagram. I'm on Twitch and TikTok, but I don't do a whole lot of stuff on there. I ain't figured that stuff out yet, but I'm on there.
I love it.
That's all my handles.
So the way we're going to end the show is I want everyone to go over there and vote for Chaos Unright. That's my good brother. We hang out every night, drink a couple beers. Every hour, go vote Chaos Unright. And you'd be doing me a favor by doing my brother a favor. So, guys, I appreciate that. And cheers to
Thank
everyone.
you all so much. Cheers, brother. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Chaos, I want you to stay right there, brother. I want to end this show just kind of like we did the birthday show that night, I think. Maybe we didn't.
I don't remember that show.
Yeah, I know. All right. Thank you all for tuning in to Real Talk with Dom. You could find me on WLFE-dbradio.com. Real Talk with Dom. You could find Genevieve and I on the same format. PBDC TV, Psychomantium 13, Psycho Bunny DC, Roots Bleed Red, and now BB3 TV. You can find me. I have 2 books that if anyone wants to purchase them, vote for Chaos first. Mine's IN2. You can find them at all the formats as far as Amazon, Goodreads, and etc. You can find Genevieve at the Creepy Parlor on WLFE-DB Radio. And where else, Genevieve?
Let's see. We've got the Creepy Parlor on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern on WLFE-DB, also on Psychomantium 13, possibly on PBDC TV, BB3 TV, not quite yet. I said it. I actually said it this time because I can never say it right. Psycho Bunny Death Cult, all that fun stuff. Yeah, so come and check us out. Tomorrow I'm hosting our fellow WLFE DB host, Jason. We're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons and the Satanic Panic of the 80s.
And the next time you find me will be a Friday night at 8:30 at Dom and Tom's World. Definitely go check that out. Chaos, I wish you the best of luck, my brother. You know that.
Oh, dude, thank you so much. I appreciate every vote. I appreciate it. And I just realized that there's all kinds of people commenting over here that said that they voted. Thank you all. I just turned on the comments right. Sorry about that.
So everyone grab your drink real quick. And everyone who's watching, grab your drink and do this with me. Hey, Jen.
Hey, Jen.
Hey, Chaos.
Hey, Chaos.
Hey, Chaos. I mean,
Dom. Hey, fans, audience, and family. Cheers to you all. Thank you for watching Real Talk with Dom.
Vote for Chaos.
Vote for Chaos.
Later.